Every week, the loudest voices try to drown out the truth.
But we're turning the volume back up.
From hidden agendas
To expose lies.
to the wins that remind us that America still has fight left.
And yes, we're diving into the conspiracy theories too. The ones people forget about until they turn out to be true.
Two hosts, unfiltered opinions.
One podcast.
This is The Right Approach. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is episode 6?
6.
Episode 6. It's been quite an interesting week. If you don't remember from last episode, Greenland, we talked about that, Trump trying to buy it up. It looks like he's backing down from that a little bit. Not so much buying it, but being in the works of some pretty awesome trade deals and some other things that are going on. We don't know the full story yet. All this is just coming out today, so we'll probably let you know next episode.
This is true.
On another note, we have a very fun episode for you today. For Conservative Win of the Week, we're going to be talking about Trump's 1 year of being in office highlights. It's been an amazing year, honestly.
Great year.
So happy. Conspiracy Theory of the Week, we're going to be talking about MLK. You'll see why. Media Madness, Kathy Griffin feud. And for our main topic, we're going to be diving into Fishback versus not O'Donnell's, just Donald's, Brian Donald's. I messed that up, for the past 3 episodes or however long we've been talking about him. That is my bad. But it's going to be fun.
Okay, so for Conservative Win of the Week, we're talking about Trump's first year, 365 days.
Can't believe it's been a year already.
In office. So, we all know he was president before Sleepy Joe. So this is his first year back after his little bit of a
Hiatus. We'll call it that. His extended leave.
He's had the fastest start to any modern presidency. They tend to slack off for the first couple years, but no, he hit the ground running.
He gets things done.
Clear contrast from the previous administration.
Very.
He's not signing anything with an auto pen.
Isn't there like a picture of Biden's auto pen in office in place of Joe Biden, like with all the wall of the president's pictures? Mm-hmm. That's so funny.
So conservatives are saying that this is what promises made, promises kept looks like.
It is.
Okay, so we're going to talk about four things that he's done, kind of overall, kind of nitpick them a little bit. First off, we got, of course, the border and immigration. He immediately reversed all of the Biden era border policies. Which was smart. He just said, no more illegals. We're done with this shit.
Yep.
Closing it down. And we increased enforcement and deportations. ICE has been working double time. Doing what they do. They're great. I love ICE.
The stats are crazy on some of the stuff that we've seen come out of it. It's amazing. You should follow the White House on Instagram. It's hilarious. They have an amazing social media team.
There's been a decline in illegal crossings compared to prior years by a lot. Pressures on sanctuary cities, especially LA. Borders matter, laws matter, has been a huge theme so far. And a lot of conservatives are saying this is restoring sovereignty and order. Mm-hmm. A lot less illegals roaming the streets, hitting ICE officers with the cars.
Yeah, not liberals' brightest moments. When have they ever really been bright?
No.
Not really.
So, secondly, the economy, cost of living. Deregulation across multiple industries, which is huge. A push for American energy and independence. Words are hard. Gas prices are so much lower than they were during the past administration. I can actually get a full tank of gas for like $25 now. It's not $45.
That's insane. He must have shrunk our gas tanks. How dare he?
Stock market has been amazing. Small businesses are thriving. There's a giant focus on working class Americans. And the conservative argument has been energy policy affects everything you pay for. So with Donald Trump, the great president, trying for American energy independence. A lot of the prices are going down, which is making all of our lives
so much
better. Law and Order, not the TV show.
Special Victims Unit.
He's had a strong backing on law enforcement. He's tough on crime, especially since his return to the White House. Crackdowns on repeat offenders. A huge pushback on DEI programs in federal agencies. There's not black people getting jobs over white people.
Just because.
An emphasis on traditional values in schools and government. Huge. I'm not sending my kids to know liberal arts.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the first things we ever talked about in our very first episode. It was either our very first episode or our second episode. But this is exactly what we wanted to see.
This is.
And it's happening.
Conservatives are framing this as restoring common sense, not culture wars. We need a little bit more common sense in this country. Well, not us. Liberals.
Common sense is not common anymore.
No.
Unfortunately.
Foreign policy and national strength bombed the Jesus out of Iran.
Yeah.
Literally kidnapped Venezuela's president.
Yep.
There's been a large emphasis on America First foreign policy. Harder stance towards adversaries. We're not letting Iran get away with anything anymore. Deterrence over diplomacy. Less of a focus on endless foreign intervention. We're not getting in the middle of things just to be in the middle of things. Supporters are saying global respect and fear of the United States is returned. I miss it when every country in this world feared the United States.
Me too. Being a global superpower does not mean someone says our name and another country goes, yeah, all right, whatever. Being a global superpower means someone says USA, or you hear someone chanting USA, and other countries start quivering in their boots. That's what I want to see. That's what I like to see.
He has had a peace through strength messaging, which is favoring a lot of conservatives. Trump did not come back to govern quietly. He's kind of been in everybody's face, and I'm not mad at it. Aggressive action instead of symbolic gestures. If he says something, he's going to do it. He's not going to say it, and then 2 years later, we're all like,
yeah.
Where is it?
Take Greenland, for example. We all thought he was joking about that. He was not joking about that. He really wanted to buy them. Almost did.
We know what he's thinking. We know what he wants to do. He's not hiding it. Clear direction. And he's realigned the Republican Party around the border, around culture, and around sovereignty. Trump still defines the conservative movement. I'm not going to lie. He is the face of the Republican Party and probably will be for a long time. Right now, he absolutely is until we get another president down the line who is hopefully even better than him, which it's going to be hard to beat, but I think it's possible. Well, whether you love him or hate him, year one was decisive. Yep. Republicans won in action. They got action. And he's really in the first year set the tone for the next 3 years. If he can do all this in 1 year, really excited to see what happens by the end of this presidency. It's going to be something great. And he's definitely, clearly not slowing down. Not even close. It'll be an interesting next 3 years. We'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated. Maybe gas will be $1 again. That, if gas is $1, by the time that he is out of office, greatest president ever. Greatest president ever. Can't convince me otherwise. Washington can go eat it. Trump was the greatest president ever. He's pretty dang close, too, already. All right, let's talk about conspiracy theory of the week. Here's the thing about this one. I'm going to be honest with y'all. This isn't really a conspiracy. This is just the truth being told and coming out, and you're going to have to deal with it. And if you don't like it, don't watch. Click off the episode. I don't know what to tell you. So, MLK, Martin Luther King. We just celebrated MLK Day. Hope you all had a great day off from school. I don't know if anyone took day off of work. I think government workers got the day off work. We all know the story of MLK. And the stories. I had a dream. Yep, I had a dream. We learned in school about how he led the civil rights movement and advocated for racial equality.
But did you know that King wasn't faithful to his wife? And on multiple occasions was involved in orgies? Or that he denounced Christ and the Christian faith, being a self-proclaimed Christian and Baptist? It's true. I promise you it's true. Not a conspiracy, it's real. So, let's backtrack. We'll start with something easier. Denouncing his own faith. So according to one source, King said in a paper on the humanity and divinity of Jesus, this is a paper that he wrote, the Orthodox attempt to explain the divinity of Jesus in terms of an inherent metaphysical substance within him seems to me quite inadequate. To say that Christ is divine in an ontological sense is actually harmful and detrimental, so that the Orthodox view of the divinity of Christ is, in my mind, quite readily denied. The core of Christianity is the divinity of Christ.
That's the whole religion.
Not Catholicism, Christianity, which includes the Baptists, the Methodists, the Catholics, all of the denominations. So here, King is just flat out denying the deity of Christ and the fact that he is the one true God. Along with this, King goes on to deny the virgin birth, the second coming of Christ, and the literal existence of hell. Now, granted, hell is, more of a, what's the word? Analogy. It's not, no, of course, no one actually knows if it's real or not. It's likely not a burning pit in the depths of the earth. It's more seen as, in the Catholic faith at least, an absence of God. So being without God completely. That's what hell is. But he's just denying all of this. And he's a self-proclaimed Baptist, and most of his speeches and his preachings were involved the Christian faith. Let's go on to countless affairs. He wasn't true to his wife.
Not even a little bit.
Not even close. FBI tapes from 2019 revealed that King had affairs with upwards of 40 different women. 40. While still with his wife. That is a 4 and a 0. 40.
Why didn't she leave him?
I could not even begin to explain why. Maybe she didn't know? How she didn't know? I don't know. In an article from The Times in 2019 reveals, quote, in another incident said to have been recorded by FBI agents, King is alleged to have looked on and laughed and offered advice while a friend who was also a Baptist minister raped a woman described as one of his parishioners, end quote. These specific tapes are said to be currently held under a locked vault under court seal in the U.S. International Archives. And I'm going to leave links to every single one of these sources that I'm pulling this from, just so that you can go look at these yourselves. The article also states that a huge archive of documents recently released from the Federal Bureau of Investigation files exposes in detail King's extramarital sexual activities with dozens of women as he traveled the country campaigning against racial inequality. These files are hundreds of pages long and are fully available to the public to read, and I will link them. I've read some of them. It's insane, the stuff that is in here. The Times article goes on to describe countless other horrible acts that, as important as it may be to bring them up and talk about them here on this podcast, I don't think I really want to or can or should. So I encourage you to please, each and every one of you, go to and read this article and do your own research. Go and look at these files on your own. I have the site linked in the description with all the files released on MLK that are available. You can download it, use Control F, Command F, whatever, if you're on Mac, or Windows to search throughout the files for very specific things. That way you don't have to read hundreds of pages on your own. But if you're dedicated, I recommend you do that. Do your own research. So, some final thoughts on this. Despite everything, King was seen as a prominent part of the civil rights movement, and he arguably was. However, I personally believe that without King, things still would have ended up just as they are today. I don't think we really needed him. Don't get me wrong, he certainly had his role in moving things along, but I certainly believe that someone better, someone more faithful to God, someone more qualified, and more faithful to his or her partner, would have risen up to the oppression and done what King did, likely even better. We celebrate a man today who in modern times would have been condemned for his actions through the abundance of information that social media brings. Trust me. He wouldn't be seen as a great preacher of our time or an honest and faithful man. No. He would be seen as a crazed liberal lunatic, an abuser, a rapist, and a disgusting criminal. So when will things change? Unfortunately, likely never. His followers and the civil rights movement pushed for him so hard that now it would be nearly impossible to change a damn thing without being labeled an extremist Nazi racist. That's just how things are. History is written by the victors, and people lie. And that's that.
So, we're going to move on to...
Sorry, I feel like that was a lot.
That was a lot.
It was a little hard.
We're going to move on
something
to
a little easier.
what I'm going to call celebrity meltdown meets political call-out. So,
This will be fun.
So, Kathy Griffin is back in the headlines. So, Kathy Griffin has had a long-standing feud with Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper. She is now accusing them of staying silent during recent ICE protests and framing silence as a privilege and a moral failure. Okay, I can get behind it, right? Whatever. But what actually happened? Griffin publicly called out both men by name and said they weren't using their platforms responsibly. She also accused them of being protected by media class and brought up old tensions and past conflicts. It's been a long-standing feud. But she turned a political issue into a personal confrontation. Mm-hmm. It went from activism to personal really fast.
Yeah. Not a good idea.
Well, why did this take over the internet? Why was this such a huge deal? All three are major media figures. Cooper and Cohen are seen as untouchable elites. It's Andy Cohen. Mm-hmm. Griffin positioned herself as the canceled truth teller, but social media loves public callouts, so that is why this is so up there. Political outrage plus celebrity drama equals a viral moment.
Yep.
But this wasn't about policy, it was about power plays. But now we get into the media hypocrisy angle. Who decides when silence is a problem? Journalists aren't activists until the internet says they are, by this standard. Selective outrage depends on who you are. So, there's no consistent standard for moral commentary. Different people are expected different things. And some people are expected to speak out on everything. Others are allowed to just opt out entirely.
Yep.
So Kathy Griffin has a play here. She's staying relevant through controversy, leaning into her outsider persona she keeps going after for some reason, and somehow making this whole thing a currency. She's turning criticism into proof of righteousness and how she's better than everyone else because she's speaking on this. And it is currently her last reliable PR strategy.
Yikes.
But we have a bigger problem here. I love it when people go out and they talk about issues and they're trying to bring awareness to it for the right reasons.
Just like us.
But they are turning journalism into a performance and personal branding over objectivity. So they don't care what they're talking about, if what they're saying is right, what they're doing it for, if it makes them look better.
Yeah.
The news is just entertainment at this point. And this feud is overshadowing the actual issue of they're staying silent about these ICE protests. But now it's just about, Kathy's going after Andy again. But this story stops being about ICE and it becomes straight up ego.
Yeah. And it's just TV personalities being TV personalities. They're never going to change.
Nope.
And all this comes around at a time where ICE protesters are now storming Catholic churches and disrupting services, which is not good. Wouldn't recommend that at all.
Stay out of my church, please.
I beg of you, stay out of my church. Mm-hmm. Don't ever come into my church. If someone comes into my church and starts protesting, bad things are going to happen. Maybe not during the service. I'll meet them outside. How about that?
We'll meet them in the parking lot.
We'll meet them in the parking lot. So that's that. Now, for our main topic, I'm going to quickly talk about Mr. Fishback, James Fishback.
We love him.
We absolutely love him, and Brian Donalds. Now, this is quite incredible, and I cannot believe we had the opportunity to do this. On Monday, January 19th, Caden and I had the absolute pleasure to meet James in person in Ocala, Florida. He spoke at a city Republican meeting that was open to the public to further his political goals. It was pretty much just like an introduce yourself to the committee, to these people, and get yourself out there. And we decided to attend, and it was amazing. Here are some of the videos that we got from that. Welcome back to The Right Approach. We are here at a James Fishback meet and greet. We're going to see if we can get an interview with him afterwards, and we'll let you guys know how it goes.
Who I don't agree with on almost anything, he was the long shot. So we have a movement of people, we have a movement of ideas, and they're going to throw everything at us over the next 8 months. But my commitment to you is I'll always be myself. I'll always come here and answer questions. I'm never going to duck. I always look forward to debates. Tomorrow I'll be in Bushnell and Sumter County. And you need a governor that you can see, guys. You need a governor who's not going to hide behind his desk in Tallahassee. The only place you're going to see him is on Fox News. You need a governor who's actually going to show up. And we are going to do that if you make us the next governor of Florida. Any other questions while we're here?
Yes, sir. It was Charlton Heston. In 2000, at the National Rifle Association, he delivered the best line, the best summary of our Second Amendment rights. And I'm going to paraphrase that to talk about new taxes for Florida residents, the people who built our state, the young couples, the working families, and yes, the seniors who have laid it all on the line for our state. Charlton Heston said, to anyone who would dare raise taxes on Floridians over my dead, cold hands. It's not going to happen when I'm governor. President Trump won Marion County by 67,719 votes. And Aaron Baker knows this. That is the beginning, not the end, of putting Florida first, of fighting for our conservative values, making it easier for our young couples to buy their first home, to get a great paying job, and for our seniors to retire with dignity. I'm running for Florida governor as a fourth generation Floridian. I was born here. My father was born here. My grandfather taught at Florida Atlantic University down in Palm Beach County and herded cattle in Okeechobee County. My great-grandfather fought in World War I and ran a small hotel on Fort Lauderdale Beach. I am here to ask for your vote for one simple reason. We are the greatest state in the country, but that means nothing if the people who made us the greatest state in the country, you all, can no longer afford to live here. Whether it's property tax, HOA, homeowners insurance, auto insurance, sales tax, SunPass, getting a great paying job, being able to go to our colleges. I am fighting for every single Floridian. Let me be clear. I do not have political experience. My experience is from the private sector. My company last year alone deployed $40 million of capital into small and large businesses that refused to hire on DEI and instead hired on our God-given skill and merit. I don't care who it might offend on the left. I believe that President Trump is one of the greatest presidents in American history. And President Trump needs a fighter like Ron DeSantis has been in Tallahassee, a fighter who's going to fight for our traditions, for our values, for our heritage. Make this a state that you can afford, that your kids can afford, and that your grandkids can afford. Look, the immigrants have gotten a lot of free stuff. The Somalians up in Mogadishu, Minnesota, they have gotten a lot of free stuff. It's very easy to be an illegal immigrant under Joe Biden's America, but the law and order is back in President Trump's America. Amen. My name is James Fishback. I'm a fourth-generation Floridian. I regret to inform you, I do not have political experience. But I believe that Florida is our home, America is our birthright, and I will never let anyone steal that from us. Thank you.
So it was amazing to meet him in person, and I can assure you that he is in fact just as kind and well-spoken in person as he is on social media.
He's amazing. I loved being able to talk to him.
I couldn't believe how well-spoken he was in person.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it is so easy to edit something and makes yourself look good online, but to be so good at this, so good at public speaking like he is, it takes skill, like big-time skill, and he's very good at it. So along with attending the meeting, we had the wonderful opportunity to do a quick interview with him after the meeting outside. And here is what we asked him in his response. How do you feel about Gen Z women wanting to fall back to the more traditional stay-at-home mom role rather than conforming to the social standards and being empowered in the corporate ladder role?
I encourage that 100%. I believe that the truth is if a young girl walked into her 5th grade class today in Marion County during career day and everyone was dressed up, some like lawyers, some like doctors, but she dressed up with an apron. And the teacher says, what, are you a pastry chef or are you a baker? No, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. Let's be honest about what the teacher's response would be to that girl in 5th grade. That's the kind of cultural degeneracy I'm talking about. Not just the drag queens, okay, we won that war. But there's this entrenched philosophy that says that women need to be a certain way, and I reject that, and I know that as Floridians and as Christians, we reject that as well. So for the young women in Gen Z who want to embrace that traditional role, I welcome it, but the number one way we can actually defend and fight for it is creating an economic system where a mother and a father, a young couple, can actually raise a family on a single income. This was not impossible. My parents did it. My grandparents did it. My great-grandparents did it. We can do it again. It's not revolutionary. It's realistic. And that's what I'm fighting to do as Florida's next governor.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I
All right,
really
thanks,
appreciate it. I still can't believe that. That was incredible.
That was really cool. I think my heart may have stopped momentarily.
This was like the first time that we've been able to interview a prominent political figure. I mean, he's pretty prominent, especially online.
He's running for governor.
He is running for governor. So we had a lot more questions to ask him, but of course he is quite a busy person and only had time for one question from us. He took a couple questions from some other people. And we're lucky enough that he even chose us to ask a question. I mean, we were literally in the back of a crowd that was just surrounding him, and we weren't anything special. But he decided to pick us for God knows what reason, and we got to ask him our question. It was awesome. However, we are currently in the works in setting up a possible Zoom meeting to have a one-on-one interview with Mr. Fishback. I still can't believe that. If you have any questions that you would like us to ask him, leave a comment or DM us on any of our platforms. And we're going to try and get this set up. I don't know if it's actually going to happen or not. We'll see. If it does, that would be absolutely incredible. So here's some quick stats on James and Byron. As of December 31st, Byron Donalds has taken between $39.8 thousand and $84,000 from APAC from various different sources. That's why the numbers are so vast. 40 to 80K from APAC. You all know how I feel about APAC.
We all know how we both feel about APAC.
We hate
APAC.
APAC with a burning passion. James has taken zero. Nothing, nada, zilch. Absolutely not a single penny from APAC. And on multiple occasions has denounced Israel and the U.S.'s consistent funding of the state and APAC. It's pretty awesome if you ask me. Now, with having the approval and endorsement of President Trump, unfortunately, Donalds has an approval rating of anywhere between 35 to 45% via various sources.
I have an interesting take on this.
Yes.
Fishback has very publicly denounced Israel.
Right.
I have a sneaking suspicion that is why he is not endorsed by Donald Trump.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. Now, granted, I would like to know, and I'm fairly certain that Fishback had made his statements on his positions on everything well before President Trump endorsed Donalds, but I would like to know the timeline on that just to see. And I wonder if he waited to see some of Fishback's views. I mean, it is certainly not in Netanyahu's best interest for James to become governor, because he has openly said that he will take the $380 million that Florida is sending to Israel and redirect it back to the U.S., back to Floridian residents, which is incredible, and it's something that needs to be done immediately.
Yes.
So Donalds has about 35 to 45% of approval rating. Supposedly, Fishback only has about 5. It's not a lot. Not looking too good. However, I believe that the polls are a little skewed. Just like anything else in the mainstream media, honestly. I don't believe that these polls are taking into account the astronomical impact Mr. Fishback has on the younger generation. Those who are now able to vote and make their own decisions. James is incredibly popular among the millions of younger men, especially, people. And I have a feeling that Donalds underestimates this generation's will and drive to want to change things for the better for ourselves.
I will say, when we went to Ocala on Monday night, and we sat there, we walked outside to talk to him, and everyone that was there for him kind of, went outside with him. I think there were maybe 3 people that were over the age of 45. Everyone else there was like in their 20s.
Yep. It was incredible to see. And this was clearly a meeting that happens maybe like once a month, once a quarter, something like that, whenever they decide to have their meetings. It seems like it's all old people, all older local Floridians. And you could tell that the people that ran this were shocked to see that many young people. They asked multiple times, like, what are y'all here for? And they said, we can't believe how many people there are this time, how many younger people there are. And when they asked, what are y'all here for? The whole room erupted with people chanting Fishback. It was amazing. And the smile on James's face was something else when that happened.
We were sitting like, what?
We were
15 feet away from him?
Not even. I mean, we were sitting in the second row back, and he was just off to our left in front of us. And he looked over at us a couple times and smiled and waved, and he had the biggest smile. He knows. He knows that he has the younger generation's backing. And it shows, and it's good. Now, I want to say something. Our generation, we aren't just going to sit around and wait for change. This is the generation of change. Millennials are stuck in their cubicles, rotting away, and boomers are on their way out. We are the future of this country, and James is leading the charge, at least here in Florida. People like Donald will not control us. Maybe not now, maybe not in 5, 10 years, but I promise you, this generation, my great generation, our great generation, whom a third, mind you, have been lost to the horrors of abortion and the normalization of it, will rise up against a cruel, unjust, and unfaithful world, and we will grow our great nation to what it was truly meant to be. That is what our generation will do. No one else. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been quite a fun episode for me today. I've enjoyed this.
I have enjoyed this too.
I encourage you all to do your own research, as always, and we will see you in the next episode. This has been The Right Approach.